So the night before, we were out at a bar, and I don't really drink, so I'm just like, woo, on some Diet Coke, taking it in.
High off life. She used to show up to parties with a thing of sleeve of Ritz crackers and a Diet Coke. Everybody's just like, okay, lady. And she was more hyper and more happy and more drunk off life than anybody in the building. And all she had was Diet Coke and fucking crackers.
It's truth, baby.
Try it out. All right. So
I was having some caffeine.
yeah, woo-hoo!
Yes, I'm in designer. If I see her, then I got her, bro. Yes, I am a dog with these diamonds on my collar.
All right, welcome back to Let's Be Clear. This is the season 2 opener, and who better than to have than a very big fan favorite, Cheri. What's going on? Okay. I was just saying to them, it's been a while since I've heard my own voice, and it's been nice. And here I am again. I can just hear myself blasting in my ears. I know how you all feel. All right, so Cheri, with her storytelling abilities, which I know the last episode when she was here, the whole pregnancy episode, you got a lot of visuals. She's very good at painting a picture. So Cheri, welcome back, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we thought we'd talk about what today? Something that I am so fluent in that I've already done an episodes on, and we're gonna do another one because
why the fuck?
That. Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Anxiety? How many episodes have I done on anxiety, Hurl? A few, because I'm fluent. I'm fluent in anxiety.
Yeah.
So
and everybody's
so this
got
is
a different view.
Right? That's what this point of this one episode is that everybody's got a different view of what anxiety is. Whether you deal with it, whether you don't, but you witness it,
right.
Or whether, you experience it in different situations and what type of feelings those can bring about. Mm-hmm. And for people who aren't familiar with it,
those are my favorite people.
Yeah. Oh, they are?
That don't have anxiety. I like to talk to them about it. Because a lot of times
you educate them on it.
100%.
Okay.
And they just don't understand someone who has it, right? So to talk to them is like, oh, do you have anxiety? They don't really know what it is. They more or less tell you you should just relax.
Yeah, but see, why are those your favorite people to talk to? See, those are my nightmares to talk to because they don't get it.
I don't like to talk to them when I have anxiety.
Oh, you like to talk to them when it's just not
about it,
rolling.
Like to educate them on it. Correct?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do they still look at you like, I don't get it, broad?
But I think if you get into their brain a little bit, there's moments where they have. Like I have a friend that was like, oh my God, I went to put my dog down and, they took her in the other room and my whole body started shaking to the point where I couldn't stop. And I'm like, oh, wow. Or someone else would be like, my sister overdosed and, it really brought me to a point I was vomiting and I just couldn't stop my heart out of my chest. I'm like, yeah, that happens to me like if someone in my house vomits. Yeah.
That happens to me when someone walks by me. Yeah. That happens to me when I open my eyes in the morning. Fuck. Oh. Yeah, so anxiety I deal with every single day. So that feeling that someone explains to you,
right.
Excuse me, hit the mic, right. When they're talking about certain situational circumstances in their life that have brought, when they just have situational anxiety, not chronic, situational.
Right. And they don't necessarily know that was anxiety.
Right,
like,
because they aren't familiar with it.
I'm
right.
like, imagine that happening all the time.
Yeah, every breath I take, I'll be fucking having anxiety. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's But I did want to hear the few stories that you said you had, and the first one that you mentioned, which you didn't tell me in the car because I said save it for on air. I want a genuine reaction. Was when you first started going to therapy as a kid.
Correct.
Were we friends then? This in your teens?
It was just before I met you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think everyone's anxiety is so different, and everyone's starts at a different time. I had it a little bit as a kid, blah, blah, blah. Then when my parents got divorced, it was like, why don't you go talk to someone? I'm like, oh, all right. And I've always been like...
How old were you when they got divorced?
Like 14.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
That's when you need the counseling, yeah.
A little acne, kind of chubby and awkward with braces. I'm like, things are really looking up.
Told you she paints a picture.
So I go.
Yep.
My parents like, you should go. You haven't seen me. I'm like, all right. This woman, she was nice. It was in her home.
Oh, home therapy.
Yeah, so I walk
I
in.
didn't know they could do that. That's awesome.
know.
It's more comfortable that way.
I don't
Did they get
know.
a fireplace? Oh, no.
I don't know.
All right. A little
I
weird.
walk in and she had like red hair. It was like a bowl cut. I'm like, of course you do, right?
Figures.
I sit down and she's going over but it is interesting to go to therapy and to find out about yourself, why you have anxiety, because there's a reason why, right?
Whether we figure it out or not. Right.
Right. Well,
fucking hair mouth.
Yeah, you gotta
whether
have the
we
right.
figure it out or not, sometimes 2 times a week don't even figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
So
yeah.
I get there.
Yeah.
She's got a sugar bowl. We're looking at each other.
Her sugar bowl?
Bowl
her haircut. I thought you meant she had like a bowl of sugar. I'm thinking of like Get Out, like she's turning her tea.
So, the way I am. I've always been like
place.
this way. Like, I think everything's funny. I love to laugh.
Yes,
joke around.
yes.
So I'm like, I don't even know if therapy's for me, Ma. I went. I'm already like, oh my God, I'm trying not to laugh. But I'm like, but I need help, all right?
Yeah, and you were aware of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I sit down and she starts talking to me. She's like, put your feet next to each other on the floor. I'm like, oh, all right. So here we are. She's like, put your hands here. I'm like, okay. She's like, now I'm going to have you tap your feet just like a clock.
Okay, this definitely sounds like a scene from Get Out. This is weird shit.
Right?
I've been like, oh, keep going, but what the hell?
Like, I'm like 13, 14.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. She's like, now I'm going to have you close your eyes and pick a scene. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, a little chubby, some pimples and braces. Yeah, I'm like, all right. She's like, okay, now pick a color. And I'm like, oh, cream. It's so relaxing. Okay. And apparently she had gotten something out and it was like sound therapy. And I was like, all right, cream on a cloud. She takes this friggin' thing, goes, bong.
What is it, like a gong?
Yes. I lost my mind.
I don't think this is you went to like a witch doctor.
I don't know where I went.
Yeah, you went to a rainmaker.
She ended up helping me though.
Oh.
She sure did.
So that gong did something. Because I've never been
Not the
gonged.
gong.
Oh.
Not the gong.
What? The
Just like
cream?
talking about
Oh.
like where my anxiety stems from.
Oh, so she actually helped you with that.
Right on.
So maybe I should tell my therapist, who's been working at me hard for a long time, not getting anywhere, that maybe he needs to have me put both my feet on the ground
Right.
together and my hands on the table.
Yeah.
Well, I think of a color
And a place.
and a place.
I thought of
And don't forget the gong. I'm gonna fucking tell him tomorrow and be like, listen, there's this new type of therapy I heard of and it's
Yeah.
successble, and just
Why haven't
gong
you
me.
gotten out the
Yeah,
gong?
why have? Where's your fucking
I'm
gong?
paying you all these money.
Oh boy.
Oh, and then she had this other fork thing that was like, bing, 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 bing.
Oh yeah, like what you see in the movies.
Yeah. I think you have to be open and accepting to that for it to work. I was a young child that thought that was hilarious. you
Okay,
know?
but it actually worked at the same time as thinking it was hilarious.
Because I was like, all right, next step.
All right.
Right?
And did you keep going back to her? Or?
For quite a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is she now?
She's still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you her name. Maybe
Okay.
she's still got the haircut.
Honestly, at this point, you might have to give me your name. Let's add a gong in there and see what happens. So, the types of anxiety, like you were saying,
Right.
what do you feel personally when you experience? Now, we're not talking about vomiting, because I know you've always had a thing about vomiting. You can't. You have a fear of it. You don't want to watch anyone else doing it. I'm not talking about that. Yeah. What other things cause you anxiety, and what is the type of feelings that you feel when you have it?
People are actually surprised when they hear I have anxiety, because I'm like an outgoing person. I usually don't seem anxious. So I don't have like social anxiety, anything like that. It's all like panic attacks, which stem from vomiting. So if I'm like traveling somewhere, or I'm somewhere where someone could or may vomit, Hurley, you're good? No, I'm just kidding. I'm so much better now. It's never.
I remember when we were in high school that was like and then the first time you got pregnant, that was your biggest fear, morning sickness.
Biggest.
Yeah.
And then it was like I was like, what about Bob? I had like exposure therapy. I have 3 kids that all have a wicked gag reflex and love to vomit.
Oh, God.
I was like, I get it, exposure therapy.
Oh, my God.
So now I'm way better.
So it's taught you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me everything stems from vomiting. All of your panic attacks. That is the only cause that you have for anxiety.
Right.
That's it.
I had a parasite when I was a little kid.
Yes, I remember this story, yes.
In and out of the hospital, super sick.
Yep.
Thought I could only be with my mother.
Yep.
So then forever growing up, I thought I couldn't do anything without her. Because what if I got sick like that? She wasn't there. We'd be in the grocery store. I'd be like, I am not leaving your side, Ma. I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
She was like, you know what I'm going to do? Girl, I'm going to get you a balloon. She got me this big-ass balloon with this long-ass string. It was like as long as the aisle, right?
Yeah.
I felt so confident with that balloon because I was
Yep.
like, anywhere I go, she's going to see this.
Oh, that was so smart of her.
I'm like, Ma, what do you need, butter?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
back.
Balloon's just bobbing in the
Yeah.
aisle. You
Yeah.
can just see it bob.
Yeah.
Wow, great technique.
Go ask Big Nance.
Big Nance,
it's a
man.
thing, man.
She's genius.
She's
That
something
doesn't
else.
surprise me.
Something else.
Yeah. See if
I have so many funny stories of my anxiety, though, now that I don't, I have control over
Yeah.
it. Growing up, my way of my body reacting to my anxiety, my panic attack is I would just pass out.
faint.
I'd be like, oh, we're doing this today. Okay, like she's here. Oh, cool. We're going to have anxiety. Okay. All right. Starting to feel a little, whoo. Then I would hear like a ring in my ear. I'm like, here she goes. And I would see black dots.
And
I'd
you
be
would
like,
just
Then I would come to.
like actually hit the floor though, like if you were standing? Or
Yo,
did you?
yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, the best time was at basketball camp. I was at Governor Dummer basketball camp. It was Nike camp, right? The coach looked like Michael Jordan. He had these legs for days.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a big deal. I went to basketball camp. It was my first sleepover camp. I was
Yep.
like freaking 15 years old.
Yeah, and this is great, you know?
I'm like, I'm doing it, Mom.
yeah, there's no way I'm gonna throw up here.
Ain't nobody gonna throw up at basketball
Yeah.
camp. So I took the court and they're like, all right, we're gonna spread you out into groups. And for some reason that was a trigger. I was like, oh, I'm in it to win it, I guess.
No.
Passed out. That guy came running with those big ass legs. He was blowing his whistle right over me. I woke up. I'm like,
He galloped over.
yeah, he was like, I'm like, no, I didn't. I passed out at basketball camp. So I call my mother. She didn't answer the phone on purpose. She's like, no, bro, you're staying. I stayed. And she came to pick me up. I'm like, Ma, watch this foul shot, Ma. Remember, I did the camp. I stayed. Remember? Watch this mother. She's like, get in the car. I'm like, no, I want more.
See, I almost wish I had something like you where it was just that one thing.
Yeah.
Just that one thing. That one thing that it always reverts back to, like for you, it's vomiting. You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting here and telling me that there's nothing else that you can think of that triggers your anxiety.
Not like that. If something happens to someone I love, like if someone were to like choke and pass out or something, I think I could get that feeling.
Yeah.
Something happened to my
Or with
kids,
your
get
dogs.
that feeling, or my dogs. Yeah. Like when my Nana passed,
Yeah.
I definitely had anxiety, but not like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Not what that trigger does for you
No.
specifically.
Right. And I think that's from like any type of trauma you have. That
Right.
can be your trigger. You know? Still, like if my husband's like, I'm gonna throw up, I'm like my friend downstairs.
Like you can't hear the sound.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
It's not a good sound. It's
No.
not a good experience either. And
No.
Yeah. And like,
No.
and I was just telling her on the ride here that I don't know if I'm allergic to it or if it's a medication or what it is, but I cannot, like I physically can't drink alcohol anymore. Like vodka anyway. I've tried vodka like a few times over these past couple weeks, month, and feels great while it's happening. And then all of a sudden, you know, the watery mouth, the room starts fucking spinning, the worst feeling in the world. But unlike Cheri, it doesn't really, I mean, I hate that it's happening. I'm not enjoying it, but I've got that, because I've got that thing in my head that once I throw up, I'm going to feel better. Because there's never not been a time where I haven't thrown up and then felt better.
Wow. You know what I'm good at? Not throwing up.
Yep. And mentally making yourself feel better.
Unbelievable.
I don't know
at
how
not
you
throwing
fucking
up.
do that. Like once the
Nope.
jowls start
Nope.
watering, I just run right to the bathroom. I don't even say to yourself, Cayla, breathe, deep breaths.
No.
don't look at the, like, no. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want my mouth watering. I don't want the room spinning. I'm going to get this out as soon as possible, and we're going to feel better and be right back on the road.
No, I get like naked on a cold tile floor.
Oh, yeah, I've done that a million
Get
times.
my nose out my mouth, get some ice packs. Anything.
See, but I do that with also the action of, but it only happens when I drink.
Yeah.
Or.
I know people, as they getting older, not that we're old, but, you know, getting older, sometimes people are like, I can't drink wine anymore. The sugar keeps me up, makes me wake up all night. I hear what you're saying. But getting sick, that's weird. It makes you sick.
Sick.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I had a glass of champagne, 2 Trulies, and you would have thought that I drank from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. nonstop, just ripping shots. That's how sick I was.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, like violently ill.
Maybe because you're not used to it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's weird. I have better experience with dark liquor, even though I don't like dark liquor. It doesn't make me sick like vodka does. Vodka always makes me sick, no matter what.
Stay away from that.
Yeah, well, we should stay away from it all, because, you know.
All right, what's your anxiety feel like?
Oh, God. Well, we've talked about this before, but my anxiety, which is nonstop, affects everything for me. It affects my appetite. It affects work. It affects life. It affects even my podcast. You know, it's been a couple months since I've been back. Like, I've just been dealing with a lot of changes going on, and change is a big trigger for me. Mm-hmm. So
it can be for me too. I should say that.
I think that's one of my biggest triggers is change. I don't like change, even though sometimes an uncomfortable, you know, picking you up by your roots and pulling you out is what you need in order to make, you know, the right moves and obtain growth and obtain, you know, goals and things like that, and not stay stagnant. But I hate it. Yeah. And that definitely triggers me. But it's not just that, because it's every day. I mean, like I said, I open my eyes in the morning and I'm riddled with anxiety, and I've got no exact specific reason for it, but anxiety for me personally makes me physically ill. So if I say to someone I'm anxious, I'm having a panic attack, what that entails is that I'm nauseous, I have a headache, I feel sick to my stomach, and have no appetite whatsoever. And it's like, should be mind over matter. You know what therapists always tell you, mind over matter. No. When you have anxiety like I do, which plays into why I don't sleep at night, which I've talked about a million times on here, it's just...
You can't explain it.
I can't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But
obviously you don't want it, right?
I don't want it, right? I'm do everything to try to get rid of it. I mean,
right.
You know what I mean? But it's definitely a genetic thing, for sure. Because my mother has it, my grandmother has it, you know, my father has it. It's definitely a genetic thing. But my problem is when it affects my everyday life. If I could just, and I do have my strong days where I can just, you know, actually every day I push through it. I do. Mm-hmm. But some days it affects me more than others.
Yep.
And it's definitely something, if literally, like you ask a normal girl, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And she'll probably be like, oh, I wish I had a bigger fucking ass, or I wish I could fix my nose, or I wish I had bigger tits. For me, it would be, I wish I had no anxiety. Yeah. That would be the first thing. Mm-hmm. That would be the first thing that I would fight if a genie came out of a bottle.
I used to feel that way.
Yeah.
Until I went to therapy and really got some help.
Yeah, well, I am in therapy, and I do get help.
Yeah,
but,
keep it up.
Yeah, but they don't always work. I'll do it.
I'll give you her card.
Yeah, thank you. You need the bowl cut lady with the gong. So that's how I feel. Hurl, I mean,
you got some Zy, Hurl?
Do you have any? You don't.
I think we all do.
Oh, he doesn't have a mic. No, well, we'll ask him next time. But yeah, we all do. But yeah, I think we all do. No, Hurl.
Oh my God. I have so many good passing out stories from my anxiety. It's like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, why? See, now, I think when I hear that, like, brain damage, concussion, Like, are you just passing out and hitting the floor?
No,
I mean,
I
tree
get-
house. Like,
I know.
you're not short.
I got so good at it, to be honest, that if it would come on, like even if it came on right now, I'd be
Yeah.
like, I got something in my purse. I gotta give me a minute.
And
Hold
that's
on a
it. And you
second.
just be able to fix it like that.
Well, yeah, you gotta have the blood rush to your head, and then you don't pass out.
Oh, for passing out purposes.
Correct.
Okay.
So I've done that.
Okay.
If I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't really feel safe, and usually it's around tons of drunk people. If I'm around a ton of drunk people, because that equals vomit, I'm like, oh, okay. I was in Miami one time at South Beach. You'd know what South Beach is like.
I would. I've never been, but believe it or not. But yeah, I would know.
You know.
Yeah.
And I was there for like a huge, awesome hair academy with Vidal
Yeah.
Sassoon. That's like, whoa, if you go into
Well,
that,
yep.
you know? So the night before, we were out at a bar, and I don't really drink, so I'm just like, woo, on some Diet Coke, taking it in.
High
you
off
know?
life. She used to show up to parties with a thing of a sleeve of Ritz crackers and a Diet Coke. Everybody's just like, okay, lady. And she was more hyper and more happy and more drunk off life than anybody in the building. And all she had was
Truth.
Diet Coke and fucking crackers.
It's truth, baby.
Try it out. All right. So.
I was having some caffeine.
Yeah. Woo-hoo!
So I'm at the bar, right? Full, packed,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And I was starting to feel a little uncomfortable, apparently.
Okay.
Just everyone's super drunk, you know.
Okay. Did you feel her coming on?
Oh,
Like-
I did. I'm like, oh, and to the girl I'm with, I'm like, hey. And it was like a little later. I was like, hey, I'm on the floor. On the floor of a bar, okay?
Thank God this wasn't COVID.
I wake up. The bartender had poured ice all over me, taking my cover up off. I'm in a bikini, and there's like 50 people looking over me, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, oh, you did it again. You son of a bitch. I'm sitting there like a friggin' nerd, laying out with ice all over me, and I just wanted to be like, this isn't really me. I'm super funny.
I'm never like this.
Listen, this doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't usually do this.
Like, how do you come back from that?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I clearly need to go back to my hotel.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Anywhooser, I was looking up, and there's like 50
Anywhooser.
people looking over me.
Yep.
And everyone's like, are you all right? Are you all right? I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And they were like, who's the president? And I was like, Obama? And they were all like, yeah! Doing high fives. I'm like, okay. I'm just going to slip back on my cover up. And I go and
Get
they
this
called in
ice
the
off
ambulance.
my body?
Yeah. They made me go to the hospital.
Oh boy.
I go to the hospital. It's like the hottest doctor ever.
Oh, of course it is.
I'm
Right.
like, what happened was I slipped on an ice cube.
And then ended up covered in them. Oh my God.
Right.
That
It has embarrassed me so many times, my anxiety. But now I'm so good at it. If
Controlling
I'm out-
it.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
I'm out with friends or something and it comes on for whatever reason, that's how my anxiety can be sometimes. I don't know why necessarily it comes on. Typically, it's around the idea of vomiting or someone
Yep,
drinking too
yep,
much.
yep.
I don't do party buses. I don't do
no. I don't even do those.
girls' weekends. Everybody's always, and I'm the one spraying them with the hose.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
So if I'm in that situation now, I know, all right, I'm going to just either lay down
Yep.
or I'm going to put my head between my knees really quick. But it doesn't really happen anymore.
See, like, I almost wish, well, I don't want to say I wish that I fucking just dropping, passing out places, but the feeling that it gives me, I'd almost rather just
Right.
wonk out real quick. And then, maybe when I come to, see, what happens to me is I just shut down. So if anxiety comes over me and I'm around people, it's like nobody's there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I just zone out.
What kind of makes it happen? Something makes you mad or upset?
That's the thing. I used to think it was, I do have triggers. We all have
Well,
triggers, right?
triggers, hurl. What's
Oh,
your
yeah,
trigger?
Hurl's got a trigger. It's tree branches.
Put the words right in my mouth, apparently. I like crowds, which is ironic
Crowds.
because I'm a
Crowds.
DJ. Although I don't have to be on the dance floor as a DJ.
Right.
So
Right.
it kind of works out.
And
Yeah, I stay away from crowds, concerts.
crowds
Any
give
of that.
me, I have social anxiety, which you would never know either, and crowds give me anxiety, and it's the same thing. I worked in nightclubs for 12 years, but I was behind a bar.
You're safe.
So, but when I'm walking to the bathroom or anything, I'm feeling that, like, I'm feeling that,
Wow.
like tense in my body,
Wow.
knots. Oh, yeah. And even behind the bar, it could happen to me when I'm bumping into other workers that we're not getting in arguments, but we're bumping into each other, and I feel that anxiousness because I
Right.
like space. I don't like people near me.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it's just like hurl, you know. work in an industry where you would never expect that crowds
Yeah.
make you anxious. But then just hearing about that, not to bring this up, this poor guy, it's fucking all everybody's talking about. Not to bring up the Astro World disaster. You haven't heard about it?
No, I have.
So that just goes into saying, like, crowds, like, after hearing that story, I'm like,
I would have fainted way before I died.
Right. And no, but after hearing that story, it intensifies the crowd anxiety.
Yep.
Because and it's not, I hate that people are blaming him, because I mean it's really not his fault. That could have happened at any concert, right? What the problem was not enough security, not enough medics, not enough people, barriers, whatever case it may be. But I don't think that they should, label him a murderer. They say that she kept the show going when people were screaming. There's weird videos. But who's to say he can even hear what the fuck is going on all the way up in he's airlifted on the thing. I mean, it's a very touchy, scary subject, because the families want to blame him, which I know if I was a family member or if it happened to my son or my brother or my friend or anything, I would blame anybody that I could blame.
Yeah.
But yeah, crowds are scary because
man.
look at that.
A lot of people have social anxiety. Like they are like, what am I supposed to say? How am I going to carry a conversation? I don't know this person. Where I'm like, that's where I excel.
Right, that is where you excel. But see, that's weird, because I have social anxiety and I'm outgoing too, and I can start a conversation, with a wall. But
what kind of social anxiety do you have?
Crowds.
So
we just figured that out. Yeah, it's just crowds, actually.
I wouldn't call that social anxiety. I would just say I'm afraid of a big crowd.
I do get social anxiety, though, sometimes when I'm in a circle talking to people. I'm not showing it, but I have it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, crowds. But social. Being in a crowd, you're being social, usually.
Right.
You're not standing there, Indian style, just
right.
playing
love
with origami.
Being with people, hanging out with people. Like, COVID has sucked so bad because
that was taken
I'm
away. The opposite.
My husband too. He's like, I was born for this.
Yes.
Like
I would, if the world shut down again. Sorry for those that disagree. I would have no problem with it.
Right.
No problem.
Right.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Have you ever woken up out of a sleep? I have done this.
Yep.
Woken up in a deep sleep with an anxiety attack going on.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's from a bad dream.
Yep.
When my Nana was sick, I did.
Yep.
Woke up shaking so bad, my teeth were chattering. I just was like, sleeping.
I grind my teeth every night. Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? And then I'm like, I'm going to throw up. Awful. Some people don't know what this is like. They just like have dreams, wake up, eat waffles.
Yeah, and they wake up so happy in the morning, ready to take on the day. I wake up and I'm fucking like, oh my God, what just happened? And I don't know where do I go? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go outside? I don't know what the fuck to do. That's how I feel when I fucking wake up in the morning. Every fucking morning.
Hurley, can you believe it?
I can.
Yeah, it's not really hard to fucking believe based on my personality traits.
I wake up happy every day. I do. Not like my life's not perfect, but my husband references to me, Cheri. I know you want me to be like sunshine and rainbows,
but that's not him.
Like
first thing in the morning. Yeah,
no, he's like, I gotta go to work, and I'm stressed about work and about this and that.
I can say the only time I woke up happy, well, when I'm in Disney and shit like that. When I'm far away, but California. I woke up happy every morning.
Yeah,
and it's a weather thing for me. I definitely have seasonal depression. I always
a lot of people do. You got one of those lights?
Yeah. I got the lights. The lights don't work.
No. Girl, you got a light?
I don't got a light.
He don't got a light.
You don't need a light unless you're in a crowd. You got a light?
But yeah, what was I saying?
You got seasonal depression.
Oh no, I was saying the only time I think I ever woke up happy consistently was when I was in California.
Wow.
Yeah. Like didn't need my medication, asleep, which I normally do because my mind races so much, whatever. We've already touched base on all this, but this one wanted to talk about anxiety again, so here we are. Here we are, just reiterating all my fucking problems. But yes.
I think a lot of it has to do with situational anxiety.
Like, for who?
For a lot of people. Like if you're not in a happy relationship, if you're not happy with your job, with your life, right? That can contribute significantly to your anxiety or depression.
I definitely have depression on set anxiety. I don't
Yeah,
have
they go
depression.
hand in hand.
I'm not like depressed. Like
Right.
I don't wake up like, oh my God, I'm so depressed. Like no, like I like to get up, I like to work out, I like to do things. Like I've been going to the gym, which is weird, right?
It's amazing.
That's why that ass is looking like that.
Hey, hey.
I've been going to the gym, which definitely helps.
Oh my God, I meant to say that. That was in my notes.
What?
That exercising for me
Yeah.
has helped my anxiety like 90%.
Yeah.
I got a Peloton.
I saw that. I see your Peloton videos.
All right.
Yeah. Didn't Bud get one of
Right?
those things? Bud has a
It's the best
Peloton, doesn't
thing
he?
That's ever happened.
Think
I don't
so,
know.
maybe.
Someone. I thought he said Allie. I don't know if I can.
I'm talking
Peloton. Sorry.
like
Oh.
not really any anxiety.
I thought she was like, I'm
crazy.
talking.
No, I'm talking about the
Yes.
Peloton. The Peloton.
Peloton, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Walks help me too.
Way more patience. Like I have 3 kids. That's a lot. Way more patient. It's crazy. It releases endorphins in your brain and serotonin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the right word. Yep. Correct.
And it helps so much. It's crazy.
I feel like the only way to get through chronic anxiety is you just gotta keep fighting it. And my friend Sierra, who actually has a podcast with Big Night as well, she understands. She's someone that I've spoken to that really, really gets it. And I love when opposite of you, I love when I find people like her or, other people that have dealt with anxiety because when you're talking to them, they're so understanding. I mean, even I was talking to a benefits counselor the other day, getting like all my benefits for my job, and somehow we brought up anxiety, and he's like, listen, he's like, I've never had it. He's like, but both of my kids have it. He's like, and I can tell you right now, like from being witnessing it, he's like, I'm so sorry you deal with that. And when I find somebody that understands versus bosses I've had in the past or other people that look at you like,
Oh, they make you feel more anxious.
but they make you feel like you're just making up an excuse, right? But it's because it sounds like an excuse to people that don't experience it, which I've said before. But to people that do experience it, they're like, holy shit, like I'm sorry that you're going, like that you feel that way, because it's not you guys feel that way if you get in a car accident and you get all anxious, or if something happened to somebody you love. But imagine feeling like that every fucking day.
But imagine feeling that way and you don't know why.
Correct.
Some people have panic attacks and they're like, I don't know why.
That
chest pain.
Yep, chest pain, tightening of the chest, pit in the stomach.
Yeah. People go to the
Dizzy.
emergency room all the time for stuff like that.
I've been to the emergency room multiple times for anxiety attacks because it's to the point where you
think you're gonna die.
you literally
Yeah.
like I've had that before. It's not like that all the time, but I've had a panic attack where I thought, oh like if I don't get to the hospital, something bad might happen.
Right.
Type thing. Yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
But I am, trying to deal, push through it. We all push through it. But I like finding people that know what it's like. That's what I like. I like finding people that have been there, done that, or they've seen somebody experience it and they're like, listen, I know firsthand. I didn't actually deal with it, myself personally, but I've had children, friends, relatives, whatever.
I love helping people with it that like don't really, they're new to it. They're like, what is happening?
What's happening?
A lot of kids get it like when they go to college. It's so stressful, so much pressure.
Yep.
I like talking to people in that.
Well, you're very good at that. I honestly say all the time, she should be my therapist. Because she's got a bigger success.
Hey.
No, I love my
Do you wanna hear
therapist.
something
I love my
hilarious?
therapist. All right.
My husband, before like any social thing, he's like,
Yep.
babe, just don't Dr. Phil him, okay? And I'm like, I'm not gonna. He's like, come on, let's just like have fun. Don't Dr. Phil. I'm like, I'm not gonna. So do you guys communicate a lot at home? And he's like, here we go.
Don't Dr. Phil, but there she goes.
Yeah.
We drove in together today, and I knew. Listen, I prepared myself because I knew since we've been kids. It's, what do I always say? It's 20 questions
20
with you, but it's
questions.
more than that. It's more than 20.
Or you'll be like, yes, Sherry, you can ask me questions.
yeah, I'll be like, you're
Maybe you
allowed to
bribing
ask
me.
me 5 questions today. But today
I like helping people.
Yeah, you're very good at it. You've always helped me. You helped me when I was a kid throughout, the stresses that I went through with certain things. You were there and very good at it. It might have been tiring for you, but it definitely helped me a lot. I'm not having fun anymore. One time I was at her house and I was depressed over something, and she had 2 bulldogs that were the best, Mimi and Reggie. And Mimi,
crazy.
they're crazy.
Mimi's the craziest.
Yeah, craziest, like wild bulldogs. Like, I mean, you come in and they're fucking humping, not humping, hopping on you. Like they were very friendly, but very, very
untrained.
Yeah, very untrained. So I'm sitting on the couch and. Mimi, I forget what she was doing.
Zoomies. She was like,
she had the zoom. Yeah, she had the zoom.
Running.
Zing, 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 and she was jumping up on the couch and landing on me. And like, I've got OCD when it comes to getting. That we were talking about that. What I was saying is when you were asking me in the car what my OCDs are, because I'm nothing like my mother, which we talked about, who's as OCD as it gets. But my bed sheets, I told you, like my comforter, my pillows, I always like them clean. And then I hate having any type of fur if I'm wearing black or whatever. So that may have contributed to why I wasn't having fun anymore. But I was at her house and Mimi was running across and jumping up on me, and I'm flying backwards. Meanwhile, I'm in a freaking coma from being depressed, right? And I got this dog that's got no clue that I'm depressed. No clue at all. She was having a hell of a time. Yeah, she was having a fucking hell of a time. And I'm sitting there and it was just as genuine as can be. And I just looked at Cheri and I was like, I'm not having fun anymore.
Oh, my mic's off. Or
Talk-
this is off.
No, you're on.
You can hear me?
Boy, we're having a lot of technical difficulties today. Cheri just putting her head between her legs so she doesn't pass out.
I am not. This isn't even that big of a crowd, and no one's vomiting. Now everyone's going to think I'm doing that.
Oh, God, every
Time
time.
a shoe.
Yeah, just time a shoe.
Yeah. Are you having anxiety? Oh, my life, man.
Yeah, so what did you have any more funny stories to add to the party?
Let me think. Oh, I remember I'll never forget this. The first time I ever fainted from anxiety.
Yeah.
My mother was skiing down Attitash and she tore her ACL and they had her like on one of those things.
The stretcher, yeah. She's going down the slope.
Yeah, like a nerd. And then she's in the bed, right? And I was like all worried, freaking out because my mother's my everything.
Yeah, same.
And they're like, you can go in and see her. And the doctor came in, he's like, well, she's going to need surgery. And I just, against the wall, and I just went,
Fainted?
fainted. And everyone's like,
Are you having anxiety?
what is going on with your little girl there? Oh, yeah, just down the wall.
See, I don't think I've ever... Wait, I did faint once. I fainted once in frickin' Taco Lapita's in Haverhill.
What?
Yeah. But I was with someone, and I remember just, like, my sugar was low. That was the reason I hadn't had enough sugar.
That'll do.
But, yeah, I remember, like, same thing, the ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
My eyesight, like, closed in.
It
like
starts to, like,
become
become black
to fizzle.
dots.
Yeah, it was fucking weird.
One of
And
the
that's the only time.
best times
One of the best times.
I fainted.
Oh.
Well, now I can
Imagine
laugh
there's a...
Right. I'm
There's
so good
some
at it now.
favorites of the fainting.
There are. Hey, this one is right up there. Almost a trophy.
Top 5.
Definitely top
Okay,
5.
go ahead.
I was away in St. Lucia with my husband.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm away, that's like a trigger. Because what if I throw up? I'm so far away. What if I get super sick? I'm so far away. It sounds stupid,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's real.
Yeah, it's real
So
things.
I was there, and eating is always a trigger. I was filling my suitcase with like granola bars.
Yeah.
I'm like, people get sick from lettuce and eggs and weird stuff when they're away, and they say it's terrible. You know, Mexico, Dominican, they get super sick. I was in St. Lucia. It wasn't that bad. I would've
Right.
been all right. But it was breakfast time. My husband like took off like, woo, I'm so hungry. We went in line. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm just going to overthink this, and maybe I'll.
Were you with the kids?
Nope.
Oh, thank God.
4 kids, and there was this like nice little family sitting right here.
Yep.
Family of 5.
Yep.
Parents, all the kids, and I was like, "Ooh, I gotta get past them before I faint, man." And I walked by them like in the food court or whatever, and I saw a chair, and I was like, "Oh, thank God!" And I went like,
So luckily you had a spot to faint in.
I came to, and I was like, "I am so sorry."
Oh my God.
Is this chick on something?
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
I probably should have been on a couple MIGs.
Yeah,
but I
you
wasn't,
probably should have
know?
been.
I know a couple people that should be on some MIGs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's a few I just want to crack and put it in the coffee, you know? We all have. Right? I'm like, would you just friggin' take something?
Please.
Yeah.
For the love of
What's
God.
the holdup?
Yeah.
You take everything else.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a Pam? Lorazepam. Christ's sake.
Taking D, you're taking shots, but just please take the Pam.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the holdup with the Pam?
Yeah, what's the holdup with the Pam?
It's a dream. Curly, what does your anxiety feel like in crowds?
I don't know. I wouldn't know if I'd call it anxiety, more of just like I got very overwhelmed at IKEA this past summer. It was like my first time there in a long time.
Wow. Well, that's an overwhelming place.
Do you
There's fucking
think
hot dogs and
No,
furniture?
but I'm also feeling
They
like
don't
a lot
mix.
of people are saying things like this because of COVID.
Yeah.
Then they go back into like a super crowded area and they're like, "Whoa!" It's like they're not ready for it. And
I mean,
didn't
everyone
expect
had to
it.
be wearing masks too, so there was a little bit more of claustrophobia. And
Oh, I
then you
hate
just get the
that.
people that are just kind of like
You get
walking
hot?
around really
What were your
slowly,
symptoms?
and I gotta like
Yeah, and they're like,
Yeah.
don't know if I can
breathing down your
pass
neck
them,
like,
'cause,
hey,
And
Arnold.
no one's friendly. Everyone's afraid of everybody now.
Yeah.
Not me. Gotta
Not
still
you.
hug them.
You still hug them?
Get over
Get
here.
over here. So, yeah. Different types of anxiety, and, you know, we're fucking, that's all we usually talk about in this show, because that's the way I live. So next week, we're going to start a new segment that I'm very fucking passionate about. Should I even tell him early, or should we just, I think we should just wait till
Let's
I drop
tease
it.
it. Let's
Want to
tease
tease
it.
it a little bit?
Tease that.
Make 'em-
So I decided to do a segment called This House is Haunted. And it's not what you think, because, yeah, I'm haunted as shit, but it's got nothing to do with me. I'm going to talk to you about different true stories of whether it be hauntings, whether it be the unexplainable. Whatever I do tell is gonna supposedly be true. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go and we'll see how you guys. I'm gonna start get one of those websites there where people can put in their thoughts and stuff that the girls drinks after work girls have.
Like a Google Forms?
Yeah, like a Google Forms type thing.
Like suggestion box?
Just no, because I want when I suggestion box was an easier way to say it. But since I've never had one before, I don't know what it's called. So that way, because I want to hear if people know about the stories I'm telling, if they believe them, if you're a believer, if you're a disbeliever. I am a believer, 100%. In all things haunted. I've always been. Things have happened that I've seen on my own, and experiences and pictures that are unexplainable that I've seen, videos,
some of those.
wild
Crazy.
shit. Which I mean, if I get permission from the people, I'll fucking put it. We'll put it up right on the thing because. But the reason why I'm choosing this is because I'm very, very. If you guys know me, I'm a horror movie enthusiast. If anyone experiences a real haunting, I'll sit there like, tell me more about it, and can I come over? So, yeah. So that's what we're going to start doing next week. I'm really excited for that. And, Cheri, thank you for coming on the season 2 open. I couldn't have asked for a better.
Anytime, baby.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime.
And let's end this episode with... Well, before I end it with what I end it with, please like, follow, subscribe, and, get back on the bandwagon because we've been off it for a little bit. But, yeah, let's end this with I want to have kids now.
Yes, I'm in designer. If I see her, then I got her, bro. Yes, I am a dog with these diamonds on my collar.